Well, hello everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to He Set Me Free. My name is Robert. This is hot off the press. So for the past few days, I've really been digging in and talking about Lyft quite a bit, and Uber for that matter. But today my eyes were opened and I was allowed to see exactly what Lyft does. If you was to go into each ride and you say you was to pull up a trip and actually look at the pay, like I'm doing right here, because I want to show it to y'all. It shows you exactly the breakdown. Now, if you was to go up here, let me screenshot this because I don't want to show anything that I can't show. I'm gonna edit this photo for y'all. You would see, well, if it'll do it. I don't know if it's going to do it or not. It's in white and black. You would see the total the estimated miles, and then you would see the actual miles driven along with the price. This is important because what Lyft is charging from the time you start the ride to the time you end the ride, meaning from the time that you accept it to the time you drop that passenger off, they are charging. Fair enough, okay? But if you take shortcuts like I often talk about doing, driving to the passenger and dropping them off. I told you all the other day that I felt Lyft was not changing the mileage because the app told on itself. Whenever I made very specific shortcuts, the mileage wasn't going down. So I went back and I looked at all my rides yesterday. I started noticing it yesterday, but I didn't put two and two together until today. They actually increased the actual mileage and didn't deduct anything at all. Even though I know as I'm driving that the miles are being cut whenever the ride is complete and it's calculated, they've added miles and not subtracted anything. Now, why is this important? Because if you take miles away to pick up and you take miles away to drop off, they would have to decrease the price. Now, remember, as a driver, you're locked into a price. It's not going to change. See where I'm going with this now? Because it all came together. I noticed it really today whenever I took a gentleman down to Temple. And instead of going from Richland to Bosque to Highway 6, I went Richland and I cut through the mall parking lot over to the access road for Highway 84 over to Highway 6. And the reason why I know that is one of my favorite ways to cut miles off, it cuts off 2 miles by going that route. Typically for Amazon employees, they didn't take any miles away today. They left it the same. And then I go and I look at the actual mileage. Yeah, now here's something else too. If Lyft has tagged you as a comfort driver, they say that you can make extra money. No, that ride that I had today, they charged that gentleman over $66. They paid me $33 and some change. Whenever I looked at the breakdown, I got nothing extra for being a comfort driver. The app to take someone from Waco to Temple runs between $29 and $33. Anytime, any day of the week. I got nothing extra. Zero. They charge the passenger for comfort, but they are not giving it to us, the drivers. And it's not being indicated inside the app. When passengers are requesting comfort, extra space, roominess, the whole 9 yards, they're charging for it, but they're not paying us for it. We drive nicer vehicles, and they're taking advantage of something that they're offering, but they're not paying us for it. I was quite upset at that point. But not only that, the higher your acceptance rating goes on Lyft, the worse your rides get. So I started declining rides today. I'm not accepting any more $3.20 rides, because what they're doing is exactly what I'm saying. They're paying the mileage to the pickup and the drop off. That's it. And as long as it fits within those parameters of the $3.15. And if it's a little bit more, it's $3.20 or $3.40 or $3.50. All right? But whenever you go in and look at the actual miles driven, it's considerably more compared to what they are saying it is. Like my last ride of the day. Whenever I accepted that ride, it was 2.5 miles to pick up and 1.25 miles to drop off. They said it was 4.3 miles of actual drive time. They actually increased it. And I took almost the same route. It's just I took another road that runs parallel to LaSalle Avenue. And then I cut up instead of cutting down to pick him up. And he was on the corner. I didn't drive any farther. I took the exact same routes that they wanted me to take. But somehow, some way, because 2.5 plus 1.4 is what? 4 miles. Almost 4 miles. It's actually 3.9. They are increasing the mileage so that they can charge more, take more, because they're not going to reduce a ride to a passenger and still pay us the same amount of money, because it's all about flat rate now. I've been saying for days something wasn't adding up, and I started noticing things. Now I know exactly what I'm noticing. But not only that, the reason why that I talked about the other day, that price was changing. Because whenever you initially accept a ride, you're farther out. Okay? And they're estimating at that point. But the price is changing because you're closer to pickup. Whenever you finally accept the ride. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're manipulating to get you to accept. They're changing the price. You take shortcuts, and they're not changing the price on the passenger. They're still charging the exact same amount. No wonder whenever I tell passengers, it doesn't matter, I get paid the same regardless. Because they think that by taking shortcuts, the price is going to change. Because that's exactly what Uber does. Now, with that being said, on Uber today, they got me good today. They got me really good. This is how you know that the AI is not going to pay you anything more than they have to. I accepted a ride. I drove And the little thing whenever it says premium pickup likely, start declining those. Look at how far, in the little tiny light gray print, how far the pickup is. If it's anything under 11 miles, depending on where it's at, and you know that you're not taking surface streets that'll take you longer, turn it down. Because it said premium pickup likely. But I couldn't really see. I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't see the mileage too. I accepted the ride. It was 6.4 miles away. 10 minutes. They got me. So I picked the guy up. He was going to Belmead. So, instead of taking the route that they said to take, I took Loop 340 to, it's Loop like 434 or something like that, which takes you into New Dallas Highway, turns into New Dallas Highway. Then I took another street and I dropped him off to work. That total ride extended by 3 miles. All right, because I took the faster way. I didn't get paid for it. And in fact, they shorted me. They only paid me to the route that they gave. They're not supposed to do that. This is how, because it's all predetermined by AI now. That's it. Under the old algorithm, yes, I would have been paid all the miles that I drove. Then I accepted another ride. It was to Amazon. I quickly, after I dropped him off, I got off. But that first ride, they only paid me $12.94 when I should have got more. It should have been like a $15 ride. And then the second ride was right about average from where I picked him up and I carried him over to Amazon, $6.95. I got off Uber. Then I got on Lyft. And it was just one bad ride after another. All high acceptance rating gets you is low-end rides. The same thing holds true on Uber. So I'm going to get my acceptance rating back down into the 80s where it belongs so that I can get better rides. I don't care. Because the lower that acceptance rating is, that means you won't get those quick turnarounds like you do on high acceptance ratings. And that was something else too. I'm like, my acceptance rating is 97%. My driving score is 99%. Why am I waiting for a ride? Something I've always theorized about is what Lyft does is they rotate drivers around depending on where they're at. It doesn't matter where you're at, that they even the playing field and they spread the rides out. Because it'll come across 1 to 4 minutes on a ride for wait time, but it's had 17 rides in the last hour in Waco. Yeah. But it also is too because they zone. They zoned me over in that, like they did yesterday in the downtown Baylor area. That crap changes tomorrow. I'm going to go to the far north side of Waco, away from Belmead. Actually, what I'm going to do is on Lyft, what you can do, and I want to show you all this. You can go into your settings, and you can hit stay in area, and this will come up. And you can set it as many miles out or as many miles or 5 miles. And you can move it around. You can move it around like this. That little purple dot will move. I'm excluding the Belmead area. And that lasts for 4 hours. So, this is breaking news on what I'm telling you now if you did not know it before. That it doesn't matter how many shortcuts you take, they're still going to charge that passenger the exact same price, if not more. And they're going to pay you the exact same amount that they originally told you. So, like I always say, knowledge is power. I was floored, and then I got a severe attitude. Especially whenever I saw that what they charged that passenger, $66, and they only paid me $33. And also something else I noticed too, unlike every other day, Lyft took more than they typically do. Most of the time that fake external fees takes more money. Today they took more money. Whenever you start seeing things like that, if you drive for Uber, go over on Uber. I tried to go on Uber. I couldn't get any rides. And I don't know why it's so slow, besides the fact that it's the end of the month and it's a holiday weekend. There's no excuse for it. So maybe it'll pick up tomorrow. So I hope everybody has a blessed day. Stay safe out on those roads. Remember everything that I tell you. Everything. And whenever you start seeing the signs that I see, pay attention. And now you know that yes, you can take shortcuts to save gas, but it's not going to matter. You're still going to charge those passengers. Tell your passengers. They go tell them, do you realize that I took shortcuts to get to you and to drop you off, and you're not getting a discount because of the way Lyft does things? Your price should be going down because I'm driving to you. I'm taking shortcuts to get to you and to drop you off. And in fact, that they increase the mileage so that they can get more money out of you. Tell them. I'm going to start. So, y'all have a blessed day, and we'll talk to y'all later.